And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for Spooky Tales. Yes.
The Shadow. The streets were dark. The moon barely lit through the thick clouds. Yet many children in costumes skipped through the streets, going house to house for tricks and treats. All the streets were lit with jack-o'-lanterns on this Halloween night. It was indeed the perfect setting for a fun night. But one 13-year-old boy had other plans. His name was Billy, and he loved tormenting others for fun. He spent every Halloween night nabbing younger kids' candy bags for himself and egging houses throughout the neighborhood. He enjoyed watching the kids run and scream, say they will tell their parents to get back at him. But he didn't care. He was more focused on having fun, even if it was at the expense of others. This night in particular was the perfect cover to egg one kid, Trevor's house. He believed how dark it was outside would keep him hidden in case someone tried to catch him. And even though it was funny watching Trevor's father get angry and yell, he didn't want to get caught by him. Quietly and carefully, Billy opened up the boxes of 24 eggs and threw them at the house. It was such a good feeling for Billy, listening to the splatter of the shell and yolks against the house, knowing how foul-smelling it would be in the morning, how long it will take to clean up, and probably attract critters to their house at night. But right before he threw his last egg, the front door opened suddenly. There was Trevor's angry father, holding a baseball bat in his hand and a look of rage on his face. "You damn kid, I'll beat your ass," he cursed at him. For the first time in a while, Billy was scared. He dropped the egg and boxes and ran away from the house, with Trevor's dad hot on his trail. He was pretty big, but could still keep up with Billy okay. Billy had to get far and fast. As Trevor's dad caught up to him, he began slowing down. Billy kept running, though. He had to be out of sight in case Trevor's dad recovered and found him. Billy slowed down when he reached a strip a few blocks away from Trevor's house. He caught his breath, had a good laugh, and then decided to return home. As he started walking back, he was surprised how far he ran from the neighborhood. This particular street was long abandoned. Nobody had lived on this street for years. But the street lamps were still on somehow. It was only a few seconds when he felt he was being followed. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw a shadow. The shadow of a man walking toward him. Could it have been Trevor's dad? His mom looking for him? Or his friend trying to sneak up and scare him? He turned around and saw nobody there. "Anyone there?" he said. Maybe it was his mind playing tricks on him. But still, Billy felt very uncomfortable being in the neighborhood any longer. He hoped he would not come across a creepy hermit or a criminal possibly living on that street. Then, after taking a few more steps, he saw the shadow again. It looked taller than it did before, about 6 feet behind him, reaching out its hands towards Billy. He turned around again and found no one there. "Who's there?" he shouted. Billy began to get more uncomfortable and decided to quicken his pace back home. Until at the corner of his eye, he saw the shadow again. But it looked different than the last one he saw. It looked inhuman, with a wide open mouth and long hands with claws. Frozen at first, Billy forced himself to turn around. Looking at the ground, he saw the shadow's legs were not tethered to anybody or anything. There was no body attached to it. Billy did not stay to figure out what it was, and he ran as fast as he could. He turned around to see the shadow following him like a shark in the ocean. Billy noticed it disappearing behind a car shadow, and then it jumped through the shadow of a house nearby. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. "Is there anywhere that's safe for me?" he thought to himself. As he ran further down the street, he reached a dead end. He was frozen in fear again, looking for the shadow. It was all around him, circling him like a ravenous shark. It hid in the shadows of the houses in the dead-end street. Was it toying with him? Prolonging its pursuit of Billy on purpose? Suddenly, the shadow came out from behind him and grabbed Billy's shadow as if choking him. Billy felt an invisible force gripping his throat. Whatever the shadow was doing to his own shadow affected him too. Billy watched as he struggled for breath, as the shadow absorbed his own shadow. As that was happening, he knew he was doomed. Billy's body was disappearing into the blackness of the night and was never heard from again. Some say the shadow still haunts the dead-end street till this day. So remember, if you're walking home one night, surrounded by darkness, be sure to watch your back, or you will be snatched by the shadow.
I'm a ghoul. I'm the cool ghoul. Yeah,